Welcome to this mini webinar on leveraging opportunity on podcasts, networking, and in programs. This is about borrowing stages as the fastest way to be seen and to be trusted. All right, so let's get into it. First of all, most coaches think the only way to grow an audience is to just post endlessly on Instagram or pay for ads. But actually, the fastest way to be seen, one of the fastest, and to be trusted isn't by building your own audience at all, but it's about stepping into somebody else's audience. So here's what most coaches think they need to do to build a huge audience. So they think they need to start their own podcast, or that they need to write their own blog or start a YouTube channel, all of which we know is a massive amount of effort, especially starting your own podcast, because you're the one that needs to market the podcast. You need to find the guests, you need to edit the thing, and the list goes on and on and on. So when I first started out, I thought these things as well. I almost started a podcast. I mean, years ago, I did used to write a blog, and I've constantly been on the edge of starting a YouTube channel. But honestly, it feels too slow for me. I like to work smarter, not harder. And I want the growth to match the efforts. If that's not happening, then something's definitely going wrong if I'm going to put in a massive amount of effort. And these things are very slow growth. So what I started doing was, I started realizing that there's loads of people out there that are actually building audiences themselves. Like, they have their own audience, they've put the time in, they've posted multiple podcasts, they've built it from scratch. And these people are constantly looking for people to come and guest on their podcasts, or write a blog for them, or something like that. So when I started realizing this, everything changed for me. So the first podcast I ever appeared on, it was quite a big one for me at the time, and that was the Outdoor Fix, and it was sponsored by an outdoor brand. And I actually used to listen to this podcast myself. So at the time, I ran an adventure company, and whenever I went on my hikes, I used to listen to his podcast and think, oh, these women sound so amazing. I really hope that one day I could be on a podcast like this. That'd be super cool. And I actually started tagging this podcast in my own posts, like, over and over. It was probably borderline harassment thinking about it now. But actually what happened was, around like the 10th time I tagged this podcast, she actually got in touch with me and asked if I wanted to be a guest, because she liked what I was doing with my company at the time. And off the back of that, I actually had loads of people contact me. After the release of the podcast, they joined my adventure community at the time, and it just opened up my eyes to like brand new ways that I could put myself out there. One second, I've been talking a lot today. I've filmed 3 of these. So I'm now on podcasts almost every single week. As you can see here with my coaching business, I'm constantly hunting for podcasts to feature in. It's also fantastic because then if anyone Googles your name, you come up with what you do, you're going to start to be featured in Google and getting on that first and second page. So different types of exposure. First, it's not just podcasts, but podcasts are a great one. So you're endorsed by the host. So this is where people trust you because they follow the host, and the host has trusted you, therefore you must be trustworthy. You can go to networking events where you're the one with the mic. If you can get on stages or be a speaker for a networking event, that is another fantastic way to build your audience, especially if you offer something for free afterwards, or they could just get to know what you do. If you offer massive value in the event. Substack newsletters. The Substack has grown. It's really huge. It's kind of replaced blogs. And there's loads of engaged lists on there of people that are like avidly following certain Substackers. And what's common now is actually writing for these Substack accounts. Or you can teach inside somebody else's program. So like, I run a program, and if somebody approached me and said, hey, Kate, I want to teach something in your program, I don't expect anything in return, it's just to get a bit of exposure. And so if I'm running a group program, then that's fantastic because they'd be seen by many people. And I could do the same if they're running a program. It can also work both ways. So the real opportunity here isn't about slogging out to be seen. It's about borrowing credibility by stepping into platforms that already exist. It's borrowed authority. You're not just showing up, you're actually being endorsed, which will make people lean in and trust you instantly, which is, it avoids so much work, guys. This is such a great method. I can't even tell you. So how do you start? Where would you start with this? I'll move my little head out the way here. Right, you can start for podcasts. You can start with Matchmaker FM. That is an instant win. If you sign up to the free trial of that, it's most likely you're going to be reached out to by hosts right away. If you've optimized your profile correctly, you will be contacted and you will be invited to guest on podcasts because you'll appear on the front page. After the first month thereafter, it starts at £15 a month, and sometimes it's worth paying for because it's just such an easy way to find hosts compared to, there are millions of other methods that I teach, but this one guaranteed is the best. You know, you can find people's communities and then offer to take part in their programs. So seeking out other people who do something similar to what you do, but obviously not exactly the same. You specialize in a certain area. So if you're a wellness coach and somebody is offering a full massage course, you might be a Reiki healer and say, hey, would your guys like free exposure to, you know, the Reiki practice and what that's all about? And then you guys could do like a mutual swap. With Substack, you know, you can get on there and just search for the categories that your niche are in and then start reaching out. Obviously, if they've grown a massive audience, it might need to be some mutual exchange where you also have a huge audience. But if people are just starting out, they'd be more than happy for you to write for their Substack. And Eventbrite, on Eventbrite and meetup.com, you can find loads of networking events. So you can just reach out to the hosts and ask if you can do a speaking slot to teach their audience something for free. And also, it would help to go along first. So rather than just reaching out straight away, you can kind of go along, get into a conversation with whoever hosts it, and maybe later on seek them out on LinkedIn and say, hey, we had a great conversation. I've been thinking about the start of your event. I'd really love to offer this to your audience. Do not pay for any of these opportunities. You do not need to pay. You know, way later down the line, once you've built your credibility and you want to get onto those bigger stages, you might need to. But honestly, in the beginning, you don't have to pay for anything. So you could go and do any of those essentially right now today. So imagine that one podcast gets you in front of 1,000 listeners, or a networking event can put you in a room with 20 of your dream clients, or one guest workshop builds instant trust with an entire community. And that's how it's done. This is how you sort of build your audience on steroids. And it's stepping stones, especially with things like podcasts. You know, you feature on one really small one, and then you kind of go up a level, and then the more you do, the more credibility you get. It is an art form, so you know, the more you practice it, the more you're going to learn about the guesting process and what it is you need to provide, until eventually, you know, you're right up there, maybe one day asked to be on Diary of a CEO. Who knows? So this session is part of Growth Hour. So today we are on the O for opportunities. And as you know, if you've watched the other videos, so it starts at G, so hopefully you started there. We're now on O. We're making our way through slowly. And if you practice at least one of these a day for 1 hour, you will grow and you will book your first 50 clients. You can either attack one a week, you can attack a different one a day. But if you head into the events calendar, there I've switched out events for these activities. So if you're someone like me that needs a little bit of guidance, head in there, see what one you could be doing today, and then just set aside 1 hour of time to get to it. And I promise you, you'll start to see results. If you do, please let me know. I'd love to hear about them. I also offer one-on-one programs where I do a huge deep dive into all of this and a lot more. It's about going way beyond your 50 clients and building a coaching business that is truly unforgettable and becoming really well known in your field for what you do, building credibility across all platforms and learning the highest impact marketing and sales techniques. If that's something you're interested in, please do book in a call with me or reach out on Instagram, Kate Capelli Coach, where I post loads of free tips. Okay, so your growth mission for today, for 1 hour, today or tomorrow, choose one platform of attack, structure your approach in a way that benefits both parties. So when you're pitching to these people, it's not all about you. What can you offer them and their audience? Sometimes when you approach and say, I can just talk about whatever to do with wellness or fitness or wealth or whatever, isn't as good as saying, here are some really amazing titles to sessions that I could run. I've looked through your podcast list. I've had a listen. I see you've run nothing like this before. What do you think? Or I'm open to suggestions. And you can approach that way. There's loads of different ways to do it, but that's just one. You can message 1 to 5 people, and then law of averages suggests that you will get through to at least one and then be exposed to the audience. If nothing happens after the first round of exposure, don't worry. This is about doing it again and again and again, and you'll grow and grow and grow. This is something that compounds over time. Okay, so that's all for Over Opportunity, and I will see you in the next session, which is all about content and posted on platforms like Instagram, TikTok, my absolute favorite. So I'll see you there.